started off as quite a chilly, rainy day, but whatever you're doing, I hope the Lord continues to bless your hands. A very good afternoon. My name is Sharon, and welcome to UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. You are watching UBC Lunchtime News on the 13th of February 2021. In our top stories of the day, Parliament recently asked the Minister of Internal Affairs, General Jeje Odong, to explain circumstances surrounding the rampant wave of kidnaps. In a rebut statement to the parliamentary summons, General Jeje Odong noted that investigations were still underway to establish the whereabouts of 31 out of 44 kidnap cases reported so far. However, in a twist of events, President Yoweri Museveni, Commander-in-Chief of Uganda's Armed Forces, is expected to address the country on the state of affairs. UBC TV spoke to legislators on their expectations ahead of his address.
President, His Excellency, to come out clearly and speak about the public outcry of the ongoing kidnap of Ugandans. As we move out there, people are crying. People are asking themselves, people on tension, they're not living in peace. They want their president to come out clearly and really talk about it and reassure them.
We'd also want to hear from the president what measures he's putting in place to handle this matter. Because you see, it is the president ultimately who will give us the confidence as Ugandans that we are secure, we are going to be safe. We have gone through challenges. One, the killing of women in Entebbe, he came out, he spoke, he assured people there will be stability, security will come back to normal, and indeed, that happened. So even in this situation right now, we are waiting to hear from the president.
What has happened? Because if it has been rampant, the Commander-in-Chief has more competent information.
And obviously we expect to hear from him a mention of what we see on social media, what has been going on in the country generally.
We have never had an election in which 100 people die. We've never had an election where you find people brutalized to this extent. I also want to hear from him where he's hiding our children, those that he has kidnapped.
Because sometimes people may feign kidnaps. Many people who participated in elections kidnap themselves sometimes, and then they show up afterwards. So you never know. I think that's what has been in the public domain. And also the release of loop people who are arrested during elections.
I want also to appeal to all the dissenting views that they should actually understand that election is over, that there is a winner, and we should move on. They should actually plan for the development of their families, for the country.
It's the first time when we have had a peaceful election, and even after elections, the country is peaceful. You remember 2006, there was walk to work immediately after elections. Last elections, 2016, there was, I hear, food crisis, so people were demonstrating. But after this election, everybody is quiet and everybody is peaceful. I really thank Ugandans who kept this peace as well.
Well, the president will address the nation today at UBC TV at 8 p.m. So don't forget to tune in and get to know the whereabouts and what he has to say about the kidnaps. In more stories, the KATIKKIRO of Buganda Kingdom, Charles Peter Mayiga, has appealed to the end of the alleged illegal detentions and kidnaps of Ugandans. The KATIKKIRO of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, was meeting with Buganda Youth Council, who won different positions in 2021 general elections. Take a look.
After the conclusion of the 2021 general elections, Buganda youth who emerged victors on different political portfolios under the umbrella of Buganda Youth Council have met the KATIKKIRO of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga. KATIKKIRO Mayiga urged them to focus on delivering services to their electorates.
I urge you, the elected leaders, to address the issues for which you were elected. We yearn for a federal system of government. We yearn for settlement of land issues, especially to stop land grabbing and evictions. We yearn to see economic initiatives that will create employment for the youth. We yearn for better health services. We yearn for an education system that equips citizens with the relevant skills. We need to protect the environment. Those are some of the things we aspire for. Please use your mandate to work on those aspirations.
He also appeals to them to always listen and seek for guidance from trusted sources and prominent people to acquire new knowledge.
I am particularly happy that a good number of the newly elected leaders went through the mentorship that the Kingdom of Buganda through the youth programs has provided.
On the same event, Maiga called on the central government to find ways to stop the rampant waves of kidnaps and arbitrary detentions without trial of people, especially those on the opposition side.
Those opposed to the current government are not its enemies. Its real enemies are those who perpetuate all this brutality, which is detested by the citizens of Uganda. Arresting people from their homes in the middle of the night by people whose faces are covered in hoods, and then these people are held in illegal detentions, doesn't make the government stronger. It doesn't make the government popular. It makes the government weaker as a result of the resentment these methods are generating.
Alan Mayanja Sebunya, the elected MP Nakaseke Central, spoke on behalf of the others.
Bannaffe abawulira eddoboozi bwe tuba nga twogera ku nsonga za Buganda, bwe tuba nga twogera ku nsonga ssemasonga ettaano, tuba tetuli mu kusosola mu mawanga. Era nsaba batutegeerenga bulungi ensonga ezo ziba ffenna zituzingira wamu ku lw'obulungi bw'eggwanga lyaffe.
Omuntu abanyooma omuntu naye bw'amala omulaba nga ajjeeyo ddala ekyo kyennyini kye yabadde tamusuubira kukola, ngenda kulwana okulaba nga nzijjayo kiri kye banyooma nkisize ku boodi tutambule.
Engineer Richard Sebamala, the MP elect for Bukoto Central, who defeated the Vice President Edward Kiwanuka Sekandi, narrates how he managed to scoop the seat.
We managed situations the way they came. Whatever came up is what we used to manage. Of course, there were pertinent issues about the incumbent, like having stayed for long. His age was, the fact that there was a gap between him and the people, and very many other things about him. There were strengths in my side. I had the age factor where I could walk all over. I had the technology factor where I could use the phone to do anything. I was faster in a way. But the people are supposed to stand by you. You need the votes from the people. You're supposed to talk about the issues that the people need to hear, that the people want to be solved.
Story compiled by Andrew Sebira for UBC News.
Health workers at Mityana Health Centre 3 have commended the Member of Parliament, Mityana District, who is also the Minister for ICT, Judith NABAKOOBA, for changing the face of the facility during her tenure of office as the area Member of Parliament. UBC made an inspection tour of NABAKOOBA's project ahead of her end of duty as woman representative for Mityana District.
Mityana Health Centre 3, located in the heart of Mityana municipality, is estimated to be serving over 200 patients on a daily basis. A facility which initially had no ambulance, no bed mattresses and no delivery beds for pregnant mothers, and among other items, was almost a no-going zone. But ever since Judith NABAKOOBA assumed the political representation powers of the district in the National Assembly, she extended her hand to give a facelift to the facility, and life returned to normal.
We were able to receive 2 delivery beds, which was a challenge before, when our mothers were, some of them were not able to deliver at once if there were 2 mothers at the same time. But at the moment, we are able to deliver 2 mothers at the same time because we are having 2 delivery beds.
The situations before was not good, but now the situation is good. We can deliver mothers like 3 to 4 a day, and we are managing them very well compared to the previous days.
At the time she assumed office, the hospital lacked a life-supporting machine, a matter she has since then worked on.
Before getting this machine, the situation wasn't all that good when you see patients with difficulty in breathing. But after receiving this machine, we have been able to cater for those patients.
The hospital often suffered from drug theft and expiration arising from the poor storage facilities, but she also worked tooth and nail to ensure that all this is addressed.
We thank our Honorable who has assisted us to give us shelves which have helped us to separate different types of drugs for easy work. We were storing them in boxes.
Many of the residents living here are in their elderly age, which makes them prone to suffer from high blood pressure diseases. This was also hard to get treatment as the facility lacked a proper and modern testing kit for high blood pressure.
Previously we had a small BP machine which is electronic, which is digital. I think it is here. And most cases it is always sometimes getting some faults, batteries, but with the help of the Honorable we are able to do it, to get the manual one, which is considered accurate, and it is really good and it is working for us very well.
NABAKOOBA's exit as Member of Parliament for Mityana District remains a worry factor not only for her supporters but for even health workers here.
But now we are going to miss her very much compared to the things she has done in Mityana.
Actually, he had promised to provide us with more computers to quicken our work. So we are still hoping that maybe he'll be able to provide us some computers. As you know, things these days are computerized, but we are having little computers to make our work easy.
If there are beds in hospital, those are already there. If there are mattresses, they are there. If there are ambulances, they are there. I'm not going to withdraw them. If there are chairs, if there are saucepans, they are there. A few things where we can get challenges, school fees, because if I don't have a sustained income, I may not be in position to pay for those I've been paying school fees for, because I've been using my salary from Parliament. So some of the projects may continue, others where fiscal cash is needed, it might be a little hard for me to continue with them.
During her tenure of service as Member of Parliament, Judith NABAKOOBA has championed the revamping of many health facilities in Mityana District, but now the question of sustainability comes in as she exits.
Even that I did not expect to lose an election, but when it happened, even before it happened, I said, God give me the strength to continue, because I know I've been honest, I've been transparent, I've served diligently. Even if you move the entire district, they will tell you that the services I've offered in the last 4.5 years, no person in my district, in my region, has ever done what I have done in the last 4 years.
Robert Onyango, UBC News, Mityana District.
I believe there's always light at the end of the tunnel, even as another woman member of Parliament will be put in position to do the same things that she's done. In more stories, construction, renovation and rehabilitation works of the old taxi park is expected to be complete by 4th March. This was during the tour of the park by the Minister for Kampala Capital City Authority, Betty Emonge, who attributed the delays of construction to the place being waterlogged. Take a look.
Construction works of the old taxi park are at 70% to completion. Works to renovate this park, which is the largest and in the city centre, started on 7th May 2020 during the lockdown that was due to the outbreak of COVID-19. According to KCCA, the scope of the work was quite expensive, citing the drainage system that was in an appalling state and caused the park to flood during rainy season. Work to pave the entire park to put more levels was done by Sterling at 9.5 billion Ugandan shillings. This work was tasking given the fact that the land the park is seated on is a wetland.
Minister, this site underneath, I think it was originally wetland. So underneath you would have clay soils which are very, very soft. So there is quite a lot that we did underground. There had to be lock fill. We had to put geotextile membrane and then put more levels to reach this stage.
They estimated to complete this work in 3 months, but the COVID-19 situation was challenged.
COVID-19 situation, mobilization of resources and labor, at one time it was impossible to proceed at the right pace. But also heavy rains also caused some slack. So our completion date is now focusing on 4th March 2021.
The Minister for Kampala Metropolitan Affairs and team from KCCA toured the old taxi park to assess the progress of the work. Betty Amongi said this park is used by 200,000 passengers and 25,000 people who operate various businesses. Her ministry and Kampala Capital City Authority has been receiving complaints of congestion in other taxi parks, where those that used to operate in Old Taxi Park relocated, and they are cognizant of the taxi industry.
So to reassure both the taxi fraternity and the country at large that many people had been doubting and suspicious that the park probably inside there's something else being constructed, or we are not going to earn it back to the taxi people, but we want to reassure you that this park will go back to the taxi fraternity for utilization.
This modern terminal, planned to replace the old taxi park, has capacity to accommodate 344 taxis. They are constructing walkways and putting an access control system. It is only taxi operators with PHV and those who possess route charts will be allowed to operate in this park.
Few weeks engage with the taxi people and the technical team to analyze how many taxi will come back here in the context of COVID-19. And the marking and the different routes, as you are aware, we've changed now. We are handling route system. So the technical team will start working with the team of the taxi leaders to start looking at how we can accommodate and how many taxis can be accommodated.
One of the challenges the taxi operators expect to meet in this new arrangement is the digital access control system. They, however, urge authorities responsible to develop an application for them to receive notifications.
Parking bagisazeemu obutundu. Kati buli stage ebadde parking emmotoka zaayo nga 20 ne zibeera ku stage emu. Kitegeeza tekigenda kubeerawo. Nti bajja kuwa spacing egendamu emmotoka nga 6, emmotoka nga 10. Kitegeeza nti tugenda kuba tubabanja ebifo mwe tuwumuliza mmotoka zaffe nga tetunnabakola kinga zote zinnaba kutikka.
Kola emiryango gino nga giri digitalized. Motoka okuyingira mu paaka kijja kuba kikalubamu. Bw'otunira luli oluguudo lwa Savannah Road okujja ku Hamu, tubadde tusaba oluguudo olwo lwa Channel Street ne Nakivubo Muse bajjeko multiplex okubeera ng'esolooza ba driver ku lwa parking zigira zikola nga holding places.
Ugandan government received funds from the Netherlands government to carry out a feasibility study on the parking towers. In the new arrangement, hawkers are prohibited from operating in the park. I'm Nafka Farida in Kampala.
Thank you so much, Nafka Farida, for that update on the old taxi park. Now, in more stories, 4 people died and scores hospitalized following a fuel tanker fuso head-on collision along Fort Portal, Kasese Road on Friday. The accident occurred at Kasunyanji, a village Chibito sub-county Bunyangawu district. Rwenzori West Police Public Relation Officer Vincent Mwesje confirmed that the incident, saying fuel tank headed to Kasese collided with stationary fuso lorry and spontaneously burst into flames.
Era twagiddewo n'ekitongole kyaffe kizikiza omuliro ne tukola tulina okukola era tusobodde omuliro gukuzikiza oba ogujjawo naye kibi nnyo nti tusanzeewo emirambo 4 sofa era tugezaako okulaba oba wansi w'ekiro kino ekigudde waliwo emirambo gyonna naye twaba twebaza abantu b'ekifo kino kubeera nti badde beegendesereza nnyo tebasembedde kumpi na muliro wane Kasunyanji mu sub-county ya Kibito mu disitulikiti ya Bunyangabo nti no bagezezzaako okukuuma amabanga ne balekera omulimu gw'abazimamooto okugukola obulungi. Tubeebaza.
Nze mbampita Musinguzi Moses nzaalibwa wano Kasunyanji then mmotoka y'amatooke
ebadde parkinze wali ku kubo nga balinza amatooka abiri wano mu lusuku then ey'amafuta eyo nejja negisangawo negitomera abantu abafudde babadde bana abawonyeko saawo zino bali bantu basatu etwakalaba benjagadde okwogerako
okulabula kino kubo lino bakyalikola era tulina signs oba obubonero bateeka ku kkubo nga speed limit oba waliwo humps twagala mu bigoberere kubanga twagala ebizibu bibeewo lwakuba ekkubo lino likyali ppya bw'oba nga tolina kudduka speed gyegendesereze mu kifo ino manya speed limit erina okubeera mu bokise mu bantu n'ebirala n'ebirala so tubakubiriza tubateekerako mulanga tujja bakwata
motoka buni tani boyomu aroho bamweta dokita then abandi umba driver wayo abamutwira akalumwirwaro ahireho mugongo then abandi bahire bahuyeho that flat karo umuntu asigaireho ebitoke motoka baguzira ibitoke magenda Kampala ebyo turozireho patanga motoka abantu bafire ekizibu kiri hano kasunganya.
A very disturbing story right there. May the Lord strengthen those that lost their loved ones on that day. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more stories.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we are not going to leave anything on our plates because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Stay connected to the largest 4G network in Uganda, anytime, anywhere, using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi, available at only 123,000 Uganda shillings. This comes with 15 GB free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 users at a go and still enjoy a shared yet unmatched internet experience. Dial *175*9# to activate free 15 GB. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
You're still watching UBC Lunchtime News. In our business stories, adolescent girls continue to drop out of school and many encounter risks of unplanned pregnancies and are in despair. Now, Baylor Uganda, in partnership with the Aid Support Organization and Global Fund, are empowering them with practical skills in a measure to make them self-reliant. A total of 321 adolescent girls and young women from Hoima district are undergoing assessment in different employable skills. Watch.
Baylor Uganda is empowering adolescent girls with vocational skills as a way of addressing vulnerability among them. Over 300 young girls have been undergoing 3-month skills training in tailoring, knitting, plumbing, domestic wiring, welding, automotive mechanics and cookery, among others, are being assessed by the Directorate of Industrial Training. The field officer, Hoima Cluster, Baylor Uganda, Kabagenyi Mary says the girls are also provided with sustainability packages upon graduation.
The main objective of this project is prevention of HIV and AIDS spread among the adolescent girls and young women between the ages of 10 to 24 that dropped out of school.
The acting director, Directorate of Industry Training, Patrick Biakatonda, encourages the girls to continue training for better skills growth for employability.
Vulnerable girls who have been trained, now this can assist them to upgrade. They already, after getting a modular certificate, you can enroll for level 1. Now, level 1, you take 3 years. Then, from level 1, you get an equivalent of senior 4. Then they can go to level 2, which is an equivalent of senior 6. They continue up to level 4, which is an equivalent of a diploma. They continue, they go to bachelor's degree. From this starting, you can become an engineer.
The principal, St. Simon Peter's Vocation Training Center, Richard Alikira, says the skills acquired by the youth will help them alleviate poverty in their communities.
Yeah, the aim of training is to actually equip these young women, ladies and young mothers with employable skills which they can apply, which they can use outside there to be able to earn a living. And our belief is that if these young youth are equipped with skills, with the right set of skills, they will be able to become productive, and when they become productive, they will stop, or at least they will reduce on their engagement in activities that could put their lives at risk.
The girls believe that the training will go a long way in preparing them to be productive and self-sustaining.
First of all, I'm going to get the experience, I'm going to work, and then I won't be dependent on others, because I will have got the opportunity to work for myself and earn my own money, which can help me to cater for my own personal issues.
Farmers in Trans Nzoia County in Kenya are steadily shifting from commercial maize growing to sugarcane growing. In the last 5 years, thousands of large and small-scale farmers have ditched what they term as unprofitable and cumbersome business venture. As Charlotte Muge reports, the shift could have dire consequences to Kenya, since the country literally feeds the entire nation.
Trans Nzoia County in the Rift Valley province of Kenya is known as the food basket of Kenya. For decades, the farmers here have commercially grown maize, which produces ugali or posho, Kenya's staple food. However, the trend seems to be changing as farmers are eyeing other lucrative agricultural produce.
We plant maize, wait for an entire year to harvest, then government delays to open the cereal board and leaves us farmers at the mercy of the middlemen. So we end up selling our produce at very low price, and this makes maize farming a big loss.
The shift from maize growing to sugarcane farming is attributed to several factors. These include low market price, high cost of agricultural inputs, unpredictable weather, and government's failure to support the sector.
Ukulima ya mahindi imekuwa utumwa na serikali haingilii kati kusaidia mkulima wa kawaida.
Maize farming in this county of Trans Nzoia is a form of slavery. It cannot benefit the small-scale farmer at all. If you calculate the resources and time we inject into it, you realize in the long run you're wasting your time. Secondly, government seems not to be bothered.
Most of the farmers say they are willing to return to maize growing if the systems are streamlined. But as for now, sugarcane growing is the in thing.
We are moving into subsistence farming of maize. We shall grow sugarcane commercially because it can at least help us improve our livelihood. A 90-kilogram bag of maize is about 1,500 shillings. The best price it can fetch in the market is 2,000 Kenyan shillings, which is still not worth our investment.
Embracing this new crop may be socially and economically favorable for the farmer, but for a country whose population is on the rise and whose appetite for ugali is insatiable, the long-term consequences could be dire.
People in Rift Valley as a whole,
deal with maize planting, but payment is not good. So they're shifting to sugarcane because sugar pays well. And people have to go where they think they're profiting because they have children, they have to feed them, they have to educate them, and this all because of money. And since the maize is not paying well, farmers are shifting to sugarcane for better profit.
So, what needs to be done to slow down this fast-moving tide?
I think once the government will discover that people are shifting to sugarcane because of payment, then they will do something, and still those farmers will come back to maize plantation because all the time they weigh where payment is better.
Zinafaa sheria za kulinda mkulima wa mahindi ziwekwe ili kuwe dhabiti.
Government should enact stringent policies to protect the farmers from exploitation. Failure to do so will result into more farmers in Trans Nzoia quitting maize farming.
Kwa sababu tunajua Trans Nzoia ndio uti wa nchi hii kwa upande wa mahindi na chakula kwa ujumla.
Trans Nzoia County, which borders Uganda to the northwest, covers an area of 2,500 square kilometers and is largely agricultural, with both large and small-scale maize, tea and dairy farmers, among others. As more and more farmers in Trans Nzoia County embrace commercial sugarcane growing, the country should be worried about food insecurity. Charlotte Amuge for UBC News in Trans Nzoia, Kenya.
Double data. Airtel introduces double data. The biggest deal ever on smartphones in Uganda. Buy a smartphone, 3G or 4G, and get 100% data bonus from Airtel. Airtel is giving you 100% bonus data on all weekly and monthly bundles for every new smartphone connected to Airtel for the first 3 months. Dial *175*9# to enjoy double data. Double data, double data. Oh. Airtel, the smartphone network, regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Disaster response teams in Kenya's Febuary have started using drones equipped with mapping sensors to spray desert locusts that are ravaging crops and pasture lands in the region. Now, the region has been battling to eliminate the locusts for over 11 months now. We have a detailed report on this story.
In recent months, many African nations have struggled to deal with swarms of desert locusts that have devoured crops. Efforts to deal with the pests have not been that successful.
It's a tea farm, so this is planning. We're doing the flight to set wrap.
Now, one Kenyan company is using technology to fight the locusts.
We've been given information by the scouts of where the swarm is, or the hopper bands, and we then proceed to that area. We first do a mapping session where we determine the size of the swarm, the extent of the swarm, before then spraying it.
The team members use biopesticides, which they say take 10 to 12 days to kill the locusts. To ensure safe and effective flying of the drones, precision is vital. One needs good psychomotor skills. Here, the drone pilot is checking his path, controlling the drone, and at the same time spraying the pesticides.
What has made us very successful with the locust work is just how dynamic the environment changes from day to day. Actually, we've not gone to a place where it has been similar in terms of terrain, in terms of vegetation, in terms of wind, in terms of the locust concentration. It's all been different. So the way we've been able to adapt is learning from the situation there and then. It's where the locusts, remember, we have to spray them very early in the morning before 10 o'clock, because after 10 o'clock, After roosting, that's when they start flying.
The locusts usually form into a swarm whose density can reach up to a whopping 80 million per square kilometer, eating massive amounts of crops and vegetation. They can reproduce very quickly and, if left unchecked, could multiply 20-fold in only 3 months and grow 400 times in half a year. But for our Still Aerial Solutions team, using drones to control the locust has been a success story so far.
We were called by the Ministry of Agriculture in Ethiopia to help with an emergency, which was the desert locust situation there. And we operated there for 1 month. We flew over 100 flying hours using the spraying drone, and we were able to cover around 2,000 hectares in total. And we had a very big impact. We killed pretty much a swarm every day.
Before they start every spraying mission, the team captures images of the locusts with another special fixed-wing drone to ensure accuracy when spraying. Africa is experiencing the second wave of locust invasion, and the accessibility by the drones in areas where it's a bit difficult for fixed-wing and helicopters is actually commendable. That's why they're largely used in this area of Africa. But for them now, their core business is to make sure they reduce the levels of locust attack in the continent.
Thank you so much for watching UBC News, UBC Lunchtime News. I beg your pardon. My name is Sharon. Have a good afternoon.
Enjoy great value from Airtel with the all-new My Pakalast combo offers. We have customized especially for you the best deals on minutes, data, and SMS with our